Hey guys, this is Israel with STS Parts. Today, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do an iPad mini 4 screen replacement. By customer request, we're going to be using a black screen. As you can see on the iPad mini 4, it is very different than iPad mini 1, 2, and 3. It has the LCD attached to the digitizer and the glass, just like in an iPhone that we see these days. Everything is attached. We're going to have to change a few things over, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you can see on this iPad mini 4, the glass is really cracked. We're going to go ahead and get started from the top. We'll work on each side of the iPad mini 4, and keep in mind that we have to open the iPad towards this direction like that. To do that, we're going to use a couple metal spudgers to get under the glass at the beginning, and then we're going to use a plastic tool to break the glue throughout each side. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started heating up the glass. We do not want to heat too much because we don't want to damage the LCD, but we do want to heat enough to where the glue will be soft enough to where we can pry it off easily. I'm going to get my metal spudger, and I'm going to try to insert it from the top since we have an opening. Remember that you do not want to push your tool too much where you will damage the LCD. So I just want to pry it off enough where I'm just going to go ahead through the glass and the glue. And I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of plastic tools to keep that glue not reattaching to the frame. When you see your metal spudger not being able to slide through very easily, you can stop there and you want to reheat again. What you do not want to do is to add a plastic spudger or tool where you left off and heat it up, because you're going to go ahead and melt it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this metal tool there, and I'm going to go ahead and heat it up again. That should be enough for me to keep sliding my tool. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there and add these picks so I do not lose the spot where I already pried off my glue from my frame. Now we're going to heat this part starting from the top to the bottom. We want to be very careful when you have holes on the display. We don't want hot air going through and heating up the battery or heating up the board. So make sure to start applying heat to where the glass is complete, and then go down from there, and then we'll go ahead and clean this more carefully later. Again, I'm using a metal spudger that is hard enough for me to push this glass off. And I'm trying to get under my glass without damaging my LCD. In this case, you can see the glass is very shattered, so you just have to be patient to where you will not break your LCD. If you're able to see here, that is part of your digitizer that is usually attached to the glass. So at this point, I don't think we've damaged our LCD yet. In this case, I'm gonna try to get in between my frame and my glass. These tools work perfect. All the tools that we're using for this video you can find at stsparts.us. We're using an eye opener, and we're using a toolkit from iFixit that we also sell on our website. Since there's not a good way to get under that glass, it is better to use a thin tool, and that is why we're using this eye opener for this case. Okay, so now we have worked to break the glue off from the frame to the glass on each side. We only have this bottom side to work with. Just keep in mind that on this side we have the connections for our screen, and in the middle we have a button that we do not want to break. So we're gonna go ahead and go from this side, break as much glue from the glass to frame as possible, and we'll start being careful from this point forward to start lifting our screen. Remember that you do not want to heat up the screen as you have a plastic tool inserted on it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off, and I'm going to add a metal tool and heat up. So from this point on, I'm going to make sure there's no glue around. There's nothing glued to the frame. And if there is, we're going to break it off really quick so we can start trying to lift our screen to get it off. Okay, so I have a nice grip of my LCD now, and I'm going to heat it up just a little bit before we finish prying it off, so we don't break anything under this part of the glass or the button. Let me clean my area of work. It'll make things easier. Alright, so I just went ahead and pulled the screen towards this side, just enough for me to get all the glue off the frame. This is a piece of the tape, the original glue tape that you'll find on the iPad Mini 4. And we have to first unscrew these 4 screws on this plate. This right here is an iFixit toolkit, and it has a very nice screwdriver. It has a lot of tips, and it's very useful. Again, you can find these tools at scsparts.us. We also have parts for the iPad Mini 4, iPhones, and so forth. Remember that all our parts come with lifetime warranty. So I've removed the plate. I'm gonna go ahead and set it here. And every time we're working with any device, the first thing we want to do is to unplug the battery. So battery is unplugged. And now I'm going to finish unplugging my screen. We still have a little bit of work left on the frame to where everything is clean. There should not be any glue, but I want to go ahead and show you what the iPad Mini 4 original screen looks like. Remember that this part will not come with a button, because if it did, you will lose the Touch ID function of the device. So here, as mentioned before, your glass is attached to the digitizer and to the LCD. It's one piece. If you've taken apart an iPad Mini 1, 2, or 3, you will see that the digitizer and the LCD are actually 2 different pieces. So glass with digitizer comes on one side and the LCD comes on the other side. And let's go ahead and compare these two. I'm gonna go ahead and get this off the frame, and let's compare both screens. As you can tell, here are the connection flexes for the digitizer and LCD, and what immediately jumps to you is the home button connection. So this connector has a security tab that you can just pry towards the top, and you can pull this connection flex. Try to be as gentle as possible so we don't break that Touch ID function of the device. These flexes are going to be attached to the glass. So if you're having issues, it is always okay to apply some heat on this side to help the glue breaking up a little bit so you can pull it off. Okay, so once you have the flex pulled off the glass, you will see that there are 2 pieces of glue on each side of the button, and we're going to go ahead and heat that up from the other side to not melt anything off. There it is. And let's go ahead and do the other side now. This is only a security tab for the Touch ID button. The home button comes with a plastic little ring, and it also comes with a rubber part to keep the button flexible to where you can actually click it. So we have to remove all of those parts from the glass. Make sure that you only have glass left once you're done with your Touch ID button. So there's our Touch ID, and here is that plastic ring I was telling you about. We have to remove that as well. So now they look a lot more similar. You can tell that this flex right here is the one glued to the top. You need to add that tape, transfer that tape from here to here, and connect our button. So let's go ahead and get this glue exposed and tape it down onto my LCD. Transfer the piece of tape from one side to the other. We will remove this glue protector of that flex and secure it down with our plastic spudger. Okay. We will also remove this tape right here and add it on the other side on the new screen. And there's one more piece of tape that needs to be transferred from the left side of the screen. As you can tell, the only thing we're missing on this side is going to be our home button that we're going to install next.